too many questions in Mandarin, and it hurt my fluency. But why is it that my students asked more questions than I did, and they reached fluency faster than anybody else? What's the difference? Why did questions slow me down, but speed them up? I figured out why. We have 3 different kinds of questions that you could be asking in fluency. I'm going to tell you about each of these, okay? And the first 2 are the kinds of questions that hurt us as language learners. They hurt our progress, and they make the whole journey way more frustrating than it needs to be. And we want to go for questions like this one right here. I'm going to explain it. If this sounds interesting to you, let's get into it. First kind of question that hurts our fluency that I also see many people doing is grammar type questions. Okay, everything is balanced, but what am I talking about when I say grammar type questions? Okay, if you ask questions like, what's the difference between neither and either? Or, when do I have to use the past continuous tense instead of the past simple tense? Right? Or, do I have to use the future perfect to sound advanced? Right? Have you asked questions like this? Or, what's the difference between say and tell? Right? Or, should I memorize all the usages of make versus do? Have you asked at least one of these questions? Because, of course, they're useful to know to a certain extent. What do I mean? Because, yes, we want good grammar, but when we are obsessing over every little thing, making sure we are so perfect, I mean, I did this too. I cannot blame you, because I was saying with my Mandarin, because I'm learning Mandarin, I was asking, why do we use le here? Is it the past tense? Oh, like, what's the difference between 可以, 能, and 会? I kid you not. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you? The answers that I got from people were so confusing. I ended up more confused than I started. Way more confused. Because I asked several people, okay? And they would go on this long explanation, like this whole paragraph, like, oh, da 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 da, example, this, explanation, da da da. I'm like, what? This is like university level understanding. Like, do I really have to know this for practical reasons? No. Everything is balanced though, okay? But we have to be careful with getting into these kinds of questions, right? Man, I was asking all kinds of things. I was like, oh, the measure word. Oh, like, what's the difference between 找 and 找到 and 觉得 and 感觉? Like, it's just like, oh. And the answers, when you try to memorize that, it's like, oh, this rule. It's like, oh my gosh. Wow. So we have to be careful of this. But there's a smarter way to do it. I'm going to tell you, there's a smarter way to do it, which is here. But let's first talk about this kind of question. So we have the grammar type. What is this kind of question? This is the overthinking type. So I was also this person. If you ask questions like, what if someone thinks my pronunciation is weird? What if I use this word and it sounds rude? What if my grammar mistake makes me look uneducated? What if my boss misunderstands me? What if natives don't say this anymore? What if I sound too direct? Okay, again, balance is key, but once we start asking this all the time and we're asking these for every little thing, it's slowing us down. I was doing that. I was saying, oh, what if my tones are not perfect? Like, oh, the tone of this, tone of that. Oh, what's the measure word of this? Like, what if Taiwanese say it differently? What's the difference? You know, like, am I gonna sound natural? What's the most natural way? Oh, maybe that's too advanced. Maybe it's too formal. You know, do I sound too translated? Right? Drop it. Just drop it. Because I started to realize, wow, what I really need, I just need exposure to the language. And then I will automatically know. I'll automatically know. I'll get a sense of, is it formal? Is it casual? I'll automatically get the sense of that because I hear it all the time. And that's what I did. I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm so tired of asking if it's formal, casual, da da da. Let me just listen to a bunch of Mandarin podcasts and interviews. Let me find out for myself little by little. You know? Whew. So that's number 2. Now, would you like to know number 3? Because grammar type and overthinking, they could be good, but most of the time, they're hurting us. And I'm saying this because I've worked with language learners for 5 years. I'm talking about English learners and Spanish learners. Okay? I've worked with them for 5 years and I have seen this again and again. These two kinds, they hurt us. They make us slow down and they make us overthink everything. They make us lose confidence, right? Oh my gosh, I had such horrible confidence. I was crying so many times with my Mandarin. Okay? I'm not even exaggerating. So, finally, what is this kind of question? This kind of question is the kind of question that my students ask. There's like maybe 5 to less than 10%, right? Less than 10% of my students ask these kinds of questions, but every time they ask these kinds of questions, their fluency, I mean, they improve so fast. And not only that, but it's like they enjoy it more. They enjoy English more when they ask these kinds of questions. So, what are these kinds of questions? Just tell us already. These are growth type of questions. Now, I gave you the examples of grammar type, right? I gave you the examples of overthinking. Let's see if you can catch the difference when I list these out, okay? When I list these out. Let's see if you can feel a difference. It's okay, you could be honest. By the way, but before I tell you, in the comments, please share, which are you? Are you more the grammar type or are you more the overthinking type? So far, at this point, what do you think? Are you more like grammar type or are you more like overthinking type? I would say like I'm pretty much 50-50. I was pretty much 50-50 and sometimes still. It takes time. It takes time. So let me tell you about these growth type of questions. The growth type is, so how would a native speaker say this in daily life? Can you give me 3 natural examples of this phrase? When do people usually use this expression? Is this okay to say at work or only with friends? What is a more casual way to say this? Okay. Can I practice a short dialogue with these phrases? Huh? So do you feel a difference? The difference is very minimal, but if you can feel it, I'm very happy you do because the thing is it's really inside of us. It's really about our own sense of like, okay, learn it, let it go. Not taking it too seriously because I feel like I know the growth type, they learn it, they're like, "Oh, that seems pretty useful because blah blah blah." They know how they can apply it immediately. but they don't take it so seriously. They're not like, oh my gosh, if I get this wrong, the world is ending. The world is ending. Because it's never that serious. Every one of the growth type students that I have, they hear my answer, they apply it, but they don't worry about getting it wrong. If they get it wrong, they're like, oh, oops. But they're not like, oh my gosh, you know? Mindset is such a big thing, you know? It is. And so I hope that gives you some idea. And you know what? I'll say another thing. The person who's answering our questions also matters too. Also matters too. Because when I was with, like, asking native speakers who are not teachers, right? Asking those people, like, hey, what's the difference between 觉得 and 感觉? And they're like, oh, blah, 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 making no sense. Making no sense because native speakers just don't know how to explain grammar concepts. Bad idea. Bad idea. So, I love my teacher. She's amazing. She gives me very simple, straightforward explanations. And if she ever doesn't, I let it go. Like, okay, that's too complicated for me. Let it go. Like, forget the question. I'll catch it when I get more exposure to the language. What is exposure? Reading and listening to the language. That's it. And so, I hope that gives you a new perspective. I just wanted to quickly share that. And I'm thinking of doing a Q&A about like who I am, because I haven't really talked much about who I am other than some little things here and there. If you have a question for me, you're curious about who I am, what I do, anything, I'd love to have your comments down below. And if you feel like this video is interesting, you should definitely watch my video about how to stop forgetting English. That should be really useful to you. And I will see you next week. Hope you have a good one. Speak on.